Hi guys, it's Aisling back chatting to you again on the Waterstones vlog. This month round I've got another fiction reading recommendation for you, and this time I've chosen My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. Ottessa Moshfegh is the author of the 2016 Man Booker shortlisted novel Eileen. She's also written a short story collection called Homesick for Another World and a novella called McGlue, but this is her latest novel. So My Year of Rest and Relaxation follows the story of an unnamed young woman living in New York City. She's kind of living off the inheritance of two quite wealthy parents who have just died. So she's got a lot of money. She doesn't really have to do much. You know, she's described several times throughout the book as being particularly beautiful, very thin, always dressed in very, smart, elegant, fashionable clothes. She has this cool job where she works in an art gallery part-time, but she doesn't really have to do anything there either, but still makes money from it. She's got a lot of connections and knows a lot of people. She is engaged in a relationship with an older man called Trevor, who kind of works in finance. And she's got a best friend called Riva, who is very concerned about her and always trying to kind of encourage her to live life to the full. Now, despite all this, the main character still doesn't seem to be able to kind of wring any happiness or genuine excitement or light out of her life. She feels kind of displaced. She feels like she's not really doing anything or going anywhere, or nothing satisfies her, nothing really feels good. So she sort of decides to embark on this sort of experiment where she's going to try to sleep for a year. Now this is the concept of the book, and I really like this because when you come home some days and you're just like, oh, I want to sleep for a year. Well, this is actually what the character tries to do, but I don't recommend that people try it. So she finds herself a kind of psychotherapist, psychiatrist who will sort of willingly prescribe her large amounts of pills and medication so that she can knock herself out for, several hours at a time. And she does find this in a doctor called Dr. Tuttle, who, like, all her kind of interactions are very funny. Like, there's a lot of actually really good black humor in this, especially with Dr. Tuttle and the friend Riva as well, because the main character and Riva are so different to each other. Riva just wants to, look pretty and get married and have kids and have that kind of, cookie cutter life. And the main character is just kind of repulsed by even the idea of this. So it kind of drives this wedge between them, but it just means that their conversations are very funny. So Dr. Tuttle prescribes the main character all these kind of meds and pills. And then she proceeds to sort of go on this journey where over time she is eventually able to have herself sleeping, or at least unconscious, for longer and longer periods of time. And then she wakes up and discovers that she's been doing strange things in her sleep. So she begins kind of buying loads of things on Amazon and just doing and saying weird things that she doesn't remember because obviously she's been asleep. And yeah, the whole plot kind of unfurls from there. I would really recommend this book. I think if you're into kind of dark, really dry, sort of biting, pitiless comedy, you'll like it. There are some incredibly sad moments as well, especially when the character is coming to terms with the death of the two parents and the grief that kind of finally spills out of there. It's great. I thought there was so much to this book. Like, if you were doing it for a book club or something, you could discuss it for hours, because even though the character, she's unnamed, and really she should be boring because she's just one of these sort of lucky, rich, beautiful people that really there's nothing to her. It's so deep, the actual act of trying to sleep for a year, and where your mind has to be at to want to do that to yourself and kind of remove yourself from the world for that amount of time. So yes, I really recommend it. It kind of haunted me for a while. I actually read this quite a while ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since, because I haven't read anything quite like it, because even though it was sort of outlandish and a bit mad and scary, it still really spoke to me because it's something that's possible, something that could happen, and that for that reason it just sort of stayed with me. So yes, I would recommend this for anyone who enjoys kind of a dark, biting laugh. Anyone who's maybe interested in like darker sort of literary fiction, but it's not too dark. I feel like it's accessible enough. And perhaps anybody who read Eileen when that was out, I think 2 or 3 years ago. I think you'll be a fan of this also. Okay guys, so that's my book recommendation for this month around. I will see you next time, and until then, keep reading.